My friend planned a vacation where my marriage is literally illegal. My wife and I are both women in our early 30s, and we have this friend, Anna. She's our age too, super kind, really funny, and honestly, a little clueless. Not in a mean way, she's just not always up to date with how the world works, especially when it comes to politics or news. Anna's family owns this big vacation home in another country. She's been dreaming of a friend's trip there for ages, and now it's finally happening. She invited a bunch of people, and over coffee last weekend, she officially invited us too. Here's the issue. The country she's taking everyone to has laws that criminalize homosexuality. Like, literally. And that's kind of important because, again, we're married. My wife looks butch, I'm more feminine, but either way, we'd both be putting ourselves at risk just by being there. When I gently told Anna we couldn't come, she asked why. I didn't want to lie. I just said, because we're gay, that country criminalizes people like us. She looked surprised, awkwardly said, oh, and moved on. But later, she texted me. She said I embarrassed her, that she didn't know about the law, and I didn't have to be so blunt, that she's not homophobic or anything. She just wanted to go on a trip and didn't get why I had to make it awkward. Now I feel weird. Should I have sugarcoated it? Lied? Said the flights were too expensive?
I cursed my mom after she left us when we needed her. My parents got divorced. We split our time between mom and dad like most kids do. But in 2019, everything changed. Mom told us she was dating someone new and his kid had cancer. She said we couldn't visit anymore because she didn't want to risk making him sick. She told dad to take full custody. She barely called, once in 2 years. Then, in 2021, she married the guy. When his son caught COVID with cancer, mom called dad to say he's dying. And when he did, she wanted us to go to the funeral like we were still her kids. We didn't go. Later, we found out this man had other kids too. Mom wanted us to meet them. We said no. Then in 2023, she told dad she was pregnant. She disappeared again. In 2024, she sent a lawyer's letter asking for custody back. Dad's lawyer fired back. Nope, she had abandoned us. She tried to come to my birthday, but my grandparents made her leave before I saw her. I didn't want her there. Then she begged, said she'd do anything. Last month, she pushed harder. Court threats again. I gave in and met her. She apologized but made excuses. Said a sick little boy needed her more than we did. Said we needed to be a family again. I snapped. I told her to fuck off. Told her she picked them over us. That she was a bad mom. She screamed, but dad kicked her out. Now she wants me to apologize. I won't forgive. My mom's best friend got with my dad while she was dying. When I was 10, my world broke. My mom had just found out she had a brain tumor. On the same day, she also learned that her best friend was secretly with my dad. That best friend was Haley. From that moment on, nothing felt real anymore. My mom's heart was already breaking, and then her body began failing too. Seizures, pain, stress. She died just 5 weeks later. Right after her funeral, my dad and Haley moved in together like nothing had happened. They wanted to raise me and my little sister like a new happy family. But we weren't a family. I didn't want their love. I wanted justice. I yelled, I raged, and I made sure everyone knew what they did. Neighbors, friends, even strangers. They got married, and I didn't stay quiet. I interrupted. I acted out. And when they had more kids, I stayed distant. I couldn't forget. I wouldn't forgive. She was someone who promised to be my mom's sister in life, and then stabbed her in the back. Whenever Haley tried to claim credit for my success, or pretend we were close, I reminded her of who she really was. I did it in front of others too. She told me to stop, but she didn't deserve this. But I think truth should follow her. Last week, her aunt passed away. She asked me to help with the house while she was gone. I told her no, and reminded her again. She cried. I didn't feel sorry. My neighbor forced to buy my chair and played victim. I had barely owned this house for a few months when I learned the hard truth. The neighbors are straight out of a retirement village horror story. Think nosy, bored, and deeply offended that someone under 60 dared to move in. So there I was, feeling proud after scoring a gorgeous old wingback rocking chair for $10 at an estate sale. It wasn't perfect, leather peeling, but it had potential. I imagined future bedtime stories, late night baby cuddles. It was for my future, but Carol didn't see it that way. She stretched her neck over the fence like some gossip giraffe, gasped, and called the chair beautiful. I smiled, said I got it for $10, and she practically launched herself into my truck bed. No hi, no mind if I, just demand. She said she needed it for her grandkids. Said I didn't even have kids yet. Offered me $15 because apparently that makes it hers now. I politely said no. She pushed again, this time $20 and a guilt trip about how her grandkids are only little for so long. I told her it wasn't for sale and pointed her toward her own yard. No yelling, no drama, just a clear boundary. But she ran off crying like I'd punted her cat. Hours later, her husband confronts mine. Says I spoke to her like a dog and that my husband should straighten me out like it's the 1950s and I need to be scolded for making decisions about my own stuff. My girlfriend told me she loved me, then slept with someone else. I've been friends with my girlfriend for years, and recently, out of nowhere, she asked me out. At first, I thought it was a joke because I never saw her that way, but then she dropped a bombshell. She'd been in love with me for a while. I wasn't sure if I should go for it, but I told her I felt the same. Things seemed to be going great until she hit me with the exclusivity talk. I was stunned. I asked, wait, we weren't exclusive? She acted surprised and said we never had that conversation. But to me, it was obvious. She told me she loved me, and in my mind, that's as exclusive as you get without actually saying the words. So, I asked her flat out if she had been seeing or sleeping with anyone else while we were together. She admitted she slept with someone else, a random one-night stand. I was beyond furious. I called her insane, told her we were done, and that I couldn't believe she'd betray me like that. She tried to apologize, saying she didn't think we were exclusive, but that excuse? I wasn't buying it. It felt like a pathetic cop-out. How could she possibly think that after everything, after telling me she loved me, she could still hook up with someone else? Am I crazy for thinking that love should mean exclusivity? I know it's 2025, but to me, I love you is a promise. Maybe I'm out of touch, but it's a deal breaker.
My SIL called us selfish for quitting, but won't foster a kid herself. We were foster parents for years. We loved it. We gave everything we could, but we also had 3 kids of our own, and we were careful never to take in too many, so no one felt pushed aside. Then 5 years ago, we got the sweetest little 2-year-old boy. We bonded fast. He called us mom and dad, and my kids called him brother. Yet we were told he might be adoptable soon. 3 years later, his biological mom gave up her rights. The adoption process started. We were already picturing his future with us, forever. And then, out of nowhere, the caseworker said he was being removed. No warning, no second chances, just gone. Why? Because the system decided he'd be better off with parents who had no kids, despite how deeply he loved us, despite how excited he was to finally belong. They said, he'll recover. He's young, like he hadn't already been through enough. My husband and I were crushed. But more than that, we were terrified to go through that pain again. Our kids sobbed for weeks, so we stopped fostering because caring broke us. We told a few family members, and word got around them, but I didn't tell my sister-in-law directly, and she blew up. Said I owed her that news face to face. Said I was selfish for quitting. She was a foster kid herself. I get it, but we're human too. We tried our best, but now she calls me heartless? My cousin offered a gift, then sent us a $3,000 bill. We got married a few months ago, and my cousin, who's a professional wedding photographer, offered to take our wedding photos. He said it would be his gift to us. We didn't ask. He brought it up. He was clear. It's my gift to you two. We even tried to turn it down, saying we didn't want him to feel obligated or tied to work while the rest of us celebrated. But he insisted, said he was happy to do it, and we believed him. During the wedding, it was just him and his camera. No lighting gear, no assistants, no fancy setup like our original photographer would have had. The one we didn't hire because my cousin said he had us covered. We thanked him repeatedly, tagged his photography business in every post, sent a nice thank you card after. Then, out of nowhere, he calls and says, sorry for the confusion, but the gift was just scheduling you in, not the photos themselves. And then he hits us with a $3,000 bill. For a gift, I explained that we didn't budget for photos because of him. That if we'd known, we would have gone with the other photographer who offered more for less money. He didn't care. Said we were disrespectful, greedy, and didn't value his work. Now my parents are pressuring me to just pay him off in installments to avoid family drama, but I feel blindsided, lied to. He called it a gift, then turned around and called me the problem. My husband's mistress tried to guilt me out of his insurance money. My ex passed away in a work accident. We hadn't spoken in a year. He cheated and had a baby with someone else. That breakup crushed me, but I healed. I moved on. I didn't go to the funeral. I didn't want to face the drama or the people who hurt me. My peace came first, then came the life insurance call. Turns out he made a new policy 6 months after we broke up and named me for 50%. His mom and the new girl only got 25% each. I was shocked. I thought it was old paperwork, but it wasn't. He had chosen that after everything, after breaking my heart and vanishing from my life. Now, about the car. He financed one in my name before the split. I begged him to refinance it. He never did. It's still under my credit, still sitting in my garage. His family called, saying the baby mama needs it for work. I said sure, they can have it once they refinance it. I won't risk my credit for strangers I don't trust. And then they asked for the life insurance money too. Said I should do the right thing, but I didn't ask for this. I didn't beg to be listed. He chose to leave it to me. I gave 5 years to that man. I got nothing but heartbreak. If this is the one thing I get back after all that pain, then yes, I'm keeping it. He knew what he did to me. Maybe this was his way of making it right. And for once, I'm not giving that. I gave my boyfriend a reality check after what he said to my dad. After the graduation dinner, I gave Jake some space. I figured maybe he just needed time to cool off and think. I was still hurt, but part of me hoped he'd come around and maybe even apologize to my dad. Spoiler alert, he didn't. Instead, the next day, he posted a moody black screen on his Instagram story with white text saying, some people value performative loyalty over real love. Like, what? Turns out, Jake was replying to comments under that post with eye roll emojis anytime someone mentioned family or dads. At that point, I sent him one last message. I said, hey, I need to know where you stand. If you don't think what you said was a big deal and won't apologize, maybe we're not meant to work out. He didn't reply, just left me on red for 3 days. Then out of nowhere, he sent a long, nasty text. He said, I clearly have unresolved daddy issues, and that he should have known I'd always choose the first man in my life over any future ones. My jaw dropped. That wasn't just mean, it was cruel, and it showed me exactly why I needed to walk away. So I did. I told him we were done and blocked his number. And my dad, he didn't even know most of what had happened. When I told him, he just smiled. Now I'm single, holding my degree, and finally at peace. Some people really get on nerves. I am happy I moved on. I tried to end myself after my last post on Reddit. Less than a day after my last post about dropping off my baby with my ex-husband, I tried to end my life. I took all the leftover pills I had from past surgeries, hoping I would just go to sleep and not wake up. But my cousin showed up. She came to see how I was doing without the baby. If she hadn't, I wouldn't be here right now. I spent 16 days in a psych ward. That's where I was diagnosed with postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis. After I posted online, I got flooded with messages. Most weren't kind. Strangers called me a monster for having a child I hadn't planned for. Some told me my baby would be better off without me. They said that I should give my child up for adoption. And the worst ones told me to kill myself, that my child didn't need me. One woman acted like a friend at first. We talked for hours. Then, when I told her I wasn't giving up my baby, she turned cruel and called me every ugly name. I already felt like I was drowning. I just needed a break. But in the hospital, I met a nurse who changed everything. She told me she once felt like I did. She struggled too, and slowly, things got better for her. She gave me hope. Since I've been out, my ex has been quieter. He agreed to split custody. I said I'd help with daycare costs. His parents are helping too. We're managing, and I'm in therapy now. I'm trying.